What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of our Valentine's Day special. My name is Kwame Barbour, and I'm the founder and CEO of Affluential Clothing. We are a mission-based streetwear brand that promotes the idea that wealth is a matter of inspiration. While there are many different ways to describe affluence, one may believe that it all ties back to wealth and how we express our wealthiness. Affluential Clothing, however, would like to redefine affluence and showcase affluence as a mindset rather than a lifestyle. Through these interviews, we hope to expand the word's perspective on what the word wealth means. With that being said, I'm honored to be joined by my college friend and junior year roommate, Remy. What's up, Remy?
Chilling, man.
How we
Chilling.
doing?
I'm living. Feel me? I'm grateful. I'm blessed to have a new apartment. Blessed to just have a amazing internship opportunity at Schrodinger.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. For those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and your time at the university.
I am a computer science major, math minor. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I am a senior in my final semester. Yeah, that's a quick run through on that. If you want me to expand on that.
Yo, up to you. Whatever you want them to know.
Yeah, all right. When it comes to computer science, my journey with that began in middle school. Saw a friend hacking through Roblox and decided, all right, let me join in on that. Feel
Did
me?
you say hacking Roblox?
Yeah. Like he was just moving fast through the game, and I'm like, how do you do that? And he goes, well, if you know, you know. So I went ahead and made a little journey through Google, found a community that he was part of, and it turns out that community was full of teenagers who were just reverse engineering stuff. And I figured, like, all right, bet. Let me impress him and make my own hack. And from there, I just started teaching myself how to program, and yeah.
So what was the first project?
The first project, really, it wasn't even projects at that point. It was going on Khan Academy and seeing what was available.
Okay.
Khan Academy had a module on JavaScript. I wasn't too fond of that at that period of time. So instead, I had decided to go knees deep into C++, which was not the best route that you could take as a beginner, because C++ is notoriously difficult. But from there, through C++, I've grown accustomed to the basic principles of object-oriented programming. And from there, I figured, all right, if I'm doing this, I might as well just put my head into this. And yeah.
Gotcha. You started off talking about your internship. Walk us through your journey through there. I'm sure somebody can relate to the computer science.
Got you. So my journey with Schrodinger began with Christopher Brooklyn High School. It's a high school in Flatbush, a part of the Christopher Network, and the Christopher Network espouses this model titled the Christopher model, in which students go to school about 4 days a week, with the fifth day being an internship at a randomly selected job. My first 3 years, I had data entry jobs. My first year, I was working at the school because I had an injury. My second and third year, I worked at HeartShare and Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, respectively, doing data entry and making sure that things were smooth on the information end. My final year, Schrodinger had joined the school as a partner. It was their first year as a partner, and it was my final year at Christopher. And the CWSP department, they understood that I needed something more on the computer science end. I have been begging them for years on end to give me a job that would help me develop my skills in that field, because that's really what I wanted to go into. So I became the first intern with Schrodinger, between Schrodinger and Christopher Brooklyn, and if I'm correct, one of their first high school interns. And from there, things just jumped off. I started off with the education department, helping design materials for their massively online courses. And then towards the end of that internship, I drifted into user experience, where I learned HTML and CSS, which is two other languages that students will learn here at the university with the web development courses. And after that, I got a connection via my boss to the Python development end. And that's where things started getting real techie from there on.
Got you. Let's talk a little bit about yourself, getting to know you. If there's one value that you live by, what would that be?
Positivity. Like when I walk into the spot, I don't think I have the ability to frown. Like I always smile wherever I do, wherever I do, I'm always laughing, I'm always smiling. And I feel like that's something that I live by. I would rather spend 24 hours being positive and having nothing than being negative and having everything. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Where do you think that positivity comes from?
I guess it's just my response to pain. I feel like if I spend too much time thinking about what's going on that's wrong, haven't seen a lot of things that went wrong, you can't stay within a negative mindset for too long, because it's going to start affecting those around you. it's going to start affecting yourself, and it's going to start affecting those around you. So if you take the time out to redirect yourself into a more positive light, then things start to build up from there.
Got you. How would you say that you measure success?
For me, success is, I'm more of a giving person. So for me, I feel like I'm successful if I have the ability to give back and still take care of myself. If I can't give back, if I can't give somebody something without being able to be in a position where I could see the next day, then I can't call myself successful.
Gotcha. What point do you think you have to get to first before you can reach back and help others, though?
That's a good question. For me, it's financial freedom, being able to take care of all my debts, take care of my student loans and my mortgage at home. And from there, that's when I say I'd be successful. Because at that, then it's nothing holding me back. It's nothing holding me back. Everything is just up from there.
We're talking about that success and financial freedom. You know, if you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life today?
If I couldn't fail, what would I do with my life today? If I couldn't fail, I'd probably get back to my bros. I'm OPK, so my new line, my littles, I'd probably get back to them and make sure that they have a positive experience in college.
And knowing that failure is a possibility, how you stay inspired and motivated every day?
How do I stay inspired and motivated every day? I like to count my blessings. You feel me? But before anything else, every day I wake up, I tell myself, yeah, I want to go here. Like, you and I spoke a lot about this. I want to go Dubai.
We know.
Feel me? I want to go Dubai. I want to explore the world. Like, I don't think that's an opportunity that a lot of people in my neighborhood have. I'm from Canarsie. I'm not from the best part of Canarsie. So, growing up, like, a lot of the folks I've seen, they stay in Canarsie. I don't want to be one of those folks. I don't want to get a bag and end up being in the same area with the same folks. I don't want to have to call that hood mine for the rest of my life. Nah.
I know there's people out there that can relate to that. You said you want to travel the world, though, but what they don't know is when you go to Dubai, you don't plan to leave. So what else is on that travel list?
Dubai, Ibiza, Martinique, Dominica. Feel me? There's a lot of places. France, Canada. Like, yeah, the world is my oyster. Feel me? And it's when you get to that point and you realize that you're not stuck to your neighborhood, then you start to build the plans to leave that neighborhood.
So with that being said, what would you like to be remembered for?
For me, I like to be remembered for being happy, for being a smiling individual, for being loyal, if anything. There you go. Being somebody who's for others, who's for mine, who's for my family, and folks who I call my loved ones.
So with all that you do currently and all that you have planned, how do you think you can increase your value? Learning
with comp sci, being a programmer, you have to learn. You got to stay ahead of the curve, especially when you're going into web development. If anybody's privy to what's going on in web development, it's a field that grows faster than people think. With development, with computer development, with software development, there's multiple fields. You have embedded programming, you have regular proprietary programs which use Java and C++, and then you have web development, and that's where a lot of apps are going. Nowadays, if you want something done, you can either go on the App Store or you can go on the browser. Most of the time you find yourself on the browser buying stuff, right? So with that being said, that field is moving a lot faster than previously thought. With new advances with AI and crypto and just languages in general, you have to keep yourself learning in order to stay ahead of the curve, in order to keep yourself a valuable asset in that field.
Final question for you. What does affluence mean to you?
Affluence. Let me ask you what affluence means to you. That way I can give you a good answer.
I mean, on the surface level, affluence is wealth, but when we think about wealth, we think about it materially, and I feel like wealth is really a matter of inspiration. If we have an idea, we can continue to work on that idea, become 1% better each day to actually achieve the material wealth that we want. So just starting out with an idea, being confident in our idea, being confident in our ability, and the fact that everything that we do has value. You know, no one else will see that we're valuable if we don't see that we're valuable ourselves. So that's what affluence is to me.
For me, affluence is being in a position where I can reliably tell my folks that they can eat too, and I could help them get there. It's being able to look at my littles and my brother, and if they're ever down, telling them, yeah, I got you, and being able to watch them prosper from what I can be able to help them with. That's what affluence is for me, giving them something that can grow, rather than it's me being able to teach a man how to fish rather than just giving a man a fish. That's affluence for me.
So going off of that, is there any last words of advice that you have for the viewers? That can be about computer science, about not being limited to your neighborhood, your environment.
Yeah. To the folks who are in the comp sci track at Fairfield U, don't let those courses be the only thing that you're learning. Take some time out to develop your own skills outside of your coursework, because that's what people are gonna be looking for. When people want a programmer, they want somebody who's actively devoted towards it. And if you're just taking these classes and you're only doing the work that the teacher gives you, and you're not taking the time out on your own to develop your own side projects and your own portfolio, then once you reach the end, it'll be hard for you to understand the practicality of what you're doing. So for me, I'd say to all those who are in the same track as I am, the BS track, develop your portfolio on your own. Take some time out, go on YouTube, find those side projects, recreate those side projects, and then once you find something that you like within those side projects, go ahead and branch off of that and make something beautiful from here.
I've watched you work on those side projects.
Yes,
I
sir.
know how stressful those can be.
Uh-huh.
One little semicolon can throw everything off.
Oh,
Talk to us a little bit about that as well. I seen you get frustrated a lot. Sometimes you want to close the computer. Sometimes you're working for 8 hours straight.
Yeah. For me, every side project is the result of iteration after iteration. I'll make something, I'll say, yeah, I like it. Then I look at it a week later, I'm like, nah, this could be a little better. Here's a security flaw over here. Or, yeah, this design is pretty whack. Now that I've learned from Schrodinger, yeah, this design is pretty whack. Or I can't understand this code, so if I can't understand this code, the folks who are going to read it can't understand it either. And from there, it's like, all right, now I know what else I'm going to do. Sometimes that project will get shelved and turn into something bigger. So with the weather app that you've seen, I made that in the sophomore year. I didn't like the first version. The first version I didn't even deploy. Like, it's just there. In class, got bored, decided to code another one. And from there, it was like, all right, now that I know what to do, let me use this as a space to practice what I'm learning and practice what I'll eventually preach. And from there, that app became another version, but that version had a security flaw. So in retrospect, if I were to deploy that version, I'd lose my own money. So then, all right, let's go back to the table, learn more. And I made my most recent version, which is the last version I have so far. It's the version that I constantly use. It's the version that my girlfriend uses. And that's my first project. My best project, I'd say, would be my chat app. Even though, in terms of design, not my best design. But when it comes to putting in everything that I've learned, I'd say I've pretty much took everything within my 4 years of internships at Schrodinger and put it into that project, and that's what came out. And that's so far my proudest invention.
I think the most important thing to take from that is just get started.
Yeah.
With your weather app, you said you got started, you liked it at first, you came back to it. You knew you could do better, but you didn't get rid of it. You kept working on it.
And even then, it was like, that was even the first project. You know what I was, in sophomore year, I was like, all right, let me make a Canvas app for me. That thing went left because the API, the back end for that, was unfortunately brought down. It was not supported anymore. So things were led to another. But I have a whole other computer with a whole bunch of side projects that I didn't even get to show the world. Even going back to freshman year, I remember making a Secret Santa program for a couple of friends and I, because they couldn't decide on how to set about the whole bowl and paper situation. So it's all about getting an idea, finding an innovation, and actually shooting that gun and setting that foot forward.